The Khaksar movement was a social movement based in Lahore, Punjab, British India, established by Allama Mashriqi in 1931, with the aim of freeing India from the rule of the British Empire and establish a Hindu-Muslim government in India. History. Around 1930, Allama Mashriqi, a charismatic Muslim intellectual whom some consider to be of anarchist persuasion, revisited the principles for self-reform and self-conduct that he had laid out in his 1924 treatise, entitled Tazkirah. He incorporated them into a second treatise, Asharit, and this served as the foundation for the Khaksar movement, which Roy Jackson has described as being, essentially, to free India from colonial rule and to revive Islam, although it also aimed to give justice and equal rights to all faiths. Quote, "They took the name from the Persian words Khaksar, respectively meaning dust and life, and roughly combined to translate as humble person." Adopting the language of revolution, Mashriqi began recruiting followers to his cause in his village of Itra near Lahore. An early report said that the movement began with 90 followers. It quickly expanded, adding 300 young members within a few weeks. By 1942 it was reported that the membership was 4 million, and Jackson remarks that it was phenomenal in its success. There was also an associated weekly newspaper called the Al-Ila. On the 4th of October 1939, after the commencement of the Second World War, Mashriqi, who was then in Lucknow jail, offered to increase the size of the organization to help with the war effort. He offered a force of 30,000 well-drilled soldiers for the internal defense of India, 10,000 for the police, and 10,000 to provide help for Turkey to fight on European soil. His offer was not accepted. Mashriqi was released from Vellore jail on the 19th of January 1942, but his movements were restricted to Madras Presidency. He remained interned until the 28th of December 1942. Mashriqi arrived in New Delhi on the 2nd of January 1942. Allama Mashriqi disbanded the Khaksar Tehreek on the 4th of July 1947, considering that the Muslims of India were more than satisfied after the hope of new, separate Muslim state, i.e., Pakistan, and they had lost all the motivation which could match the requirements of Khaksar Tehreek. In October 1947, after the creation of Pakistan, Mashriqi founded the Islam League. Khaksar Tehreek was revived after his death and now operates in different parts of Pakistan. Ideology. 24 Principles. Mashriqi had said in 1931 that the Khaksar movement had 3 distinct objectives: to emphasize the idea of superiority of God, unity of the nation, and service to mankind. In addition, Mashriqi outlined 24 principles on the 29th of November 1936 in an address to a Khaksar Kampati Elkot. This initial speech and subsequent set of principles encouraged members of the movement to serve the people regardless of the caste or religion, and Khaksars were expected to convince others to join the movement through love and affection. 14 points. The Khaksar Creed. On the 14th of March 1937, Allama Mashriqi again addressed a camp of Khaksars at Lahore to deliver the 14 points that became the foundation of the movement. These points solidified the notion that the movement was both dictatorial and militaristic. At this point its aims were to establish rule in India, and then perhaps over the entire world. However, the success of Muslim rule in India necessitated certain conditions, such as regard for the religious and social sentiments of the various communities that live in this county, maintenance of the particular culture and customs, and general tolerance. Khaksar symbols. All members, regardless of rank, wore the same uniform, a khaki shirt with khaki pajama secured with a belt, together with military boots. The khaki color was chosen because it was simple and unpresuming, and cheap and available for all, although in practice the uniforms were paid for by the Khaksar organization. They wore a red badge on the right arm as a symbol of brotherhood. On the heads, Khaksars wore the white handkerchief of the Arabs and Hajis, consisting of a white cloth the length and width of 1½ yards, which was secured around the head with a cotton string. Some Khaksars wore the Pashtun-style turban on the head with the cloth flowing down and a fan-shaped shamla peeking up. All Khaksars carried a belcher as a sign of unity and strength and in imitation of Muhammad. In addition, the spade represents humility, in the same way that a spade is used to level the ground. The Khaksars used it as a symbol of the leveling of society. The flag of the Khaksars is a modified Muslim symbol, a crescent moon and star on a red background.